When supercars meet super mistakes, wallets weep, and we can't look away. And hilariously costly. Watch as luxury turns into... oops. This guy wanted to show off his Mustang speed, but instead he showed off his crash skills. He lost control, slammed into the neighbor's car, and turned what should have been a joyride into an expensive mess. Porsche owners love to feel powerful until they hit something bigger and slower, just something undefeatable, and especially when the laws of physics don't care about brand names. This guy's Fast and Furious moment ended with a humbling dose of reality. Valets are supposed to pamper cars, not wreck them, but this guy managed to turn a pristine Lamborghini into a piece of trash. Maybe next time, he'll stick to sedans, if he's able to keep the job, if you know what I mean. Trusting your friend with a brand new Ferrari? Bold move. This guy learned the hard way when his buddy crashed it, almost immediately. Now he's dealing with the aftermath and his friend with the "we told you so" moments. You can't get more close to home than this. Forget parallel parking. This guy's new skill is front demolition.
No! No!
Hope he's got enough money to fix both of the problems that he's caused, or he'll be crying for much longer.
No! Oh my god! Oh shit! Oh no!
Mustangs and sharp turns don't get along. This mistimed corner ended with the driver going straight into embarrassment. And of course, that had to happen since it's a Mustang. The line between showing off and messing up is razor thin. This driver's attempt to impress turned into a public fail. Legal street races are supposed to be safer, but someone forgot to tell this Ferrari. It's one thing to lose a race, it's another to lose your car in the process. And sometimes the world really does want to watch you crash and burn. How conceited do you have to be to participate in a luxury car show and then stop right where the poor bystanders are and ruin the experience for everyone around? This guy might have the insurance, but he can't fix all those laughs. When a McLaren meets a Lamborghini, you expect sparks to fly, but just not on the track. This collision, a car lover's worst fear comes to life, and two insurance companies' biggest headache for sure. They definitely had a field day with this. The Mercedes was built to impress, until the driver forgot how mirrors work. Now, instead of turning heads, it's turning repair shops into the center of attention. Insurance is definitely adding collision to the feature list. The barrier looked easy enough to drive through, until it wasn't. The car hit it head-on, and now the insurance adjusters are counting dents like they're playing tic-tac-toe. Something tells me this guy's driving instructor probably dozed off in between. Owning a Ferrari SF90 doesn't mean you know how to drive it. This guy proved that by turning a random road lined with parked cars into a demolition derby. A car worth a fortune is now worth a sad story. Most people leave the dealership with their car looking brand new, not totaled. This $650,000 Ferrari barely got a chance to shine before it met its first and probably last crash. So much so for that drive of a lifetime. The Hyundai i40 got into an accident, but it wasn't just any accident. It rolled right over an expensive car like it was a speed bump. Both drivers walked away unharmed, but wallets? Not so much. So much for dipping into the savings for that lease. Nothing says trust fund troubles like totaling your dad's Ferrari. One wrong move leaving a car show, and she's now the headline instead of the car. How is her daddy going to bail her out of trouble now?
Oh my God.
The 177 is rare enough without adding crash damage to its resume. Watching it get banged up on a tow truck is just plain tragic. Monaco streets are no stranger to luxury cars, but this Aventador's crash turned heads for all the wrong reasons. This crash turned a supercar into an expensive traffic cone, which might not sound like much, but it's a shock for even Monaco. She parked the car, or at least she thought she did. One missed gear, and this luxury ride decided to go rogue. Turns out, gravity doesn't wait for instructions.
Woman driver.
Learning stick shift is a rite of passage, but not on a $15 million hypercar. This driver skipped the manual, literally, and Zagreb will never forget the sound of $15 million meeting a curb. But hey, here I am, safe in my Uber. Parking lots aren't racetracks, but this driver didn't get the memo. One miscalculation, and his luxury car turned into an expensive bumper car. He thought the McLaren Senna would glide like a dream. It did, right into a wall. The wow factor turned into ouch faster than he could say, check this out. Now he's stuck with repair bills and a bruised ego. On a rainy highway, this Ferrari driver got a bit too competitive. He tried to chase down another car, but lost control in the rain. The result? A pricey crash and plenty of wet regret. Next time, maybe tone down your ego, buddy.
Oh, Madonna! Cazzo! Madonna!
Flexing a luxury car? Who wouldn't want to do that? Well, a smart person for sure, because this guy took it too far. He revved, he floored it, and then crash! His dream ride turned into a literal nightmare in a blink. Sardinia's supercar experience sounds fun until the drivers start showing off their skills and end up taking the cars for a flight. Well, they all survived, but I bet that experience got a super fat insurance to pay out. The race car thought pulling up by the bridge would make for a scenic view. Instead, it became the start of a super expensive pileup. Metal crunched, bumpers dented, and luxury cars learned they're not quite as crash-proof as they appeared.
And there's millions and millions and millions of dollars of damage here.
Filming the delivery of your brand new Audi? Cool idea, until a biker on the pavement crashes straight into it. Now the car's dented, and so is the guy's excitement. Honestly, I would be out in the streets ready to throw hands. This wasn't just a fender bender, it was a chain reaction of luxury car heartbreak. Porsche to Mercedes to Bentley? $1 million domino effect nobody asked for, but it is one you'd expect when you're in Dubai. It's like a luxurious car buffet, but nobody's eating except the ground. Let's see what the damage is. Lambo, Mustang, and oof, even a Porsche. This truck crash turned millions of dollars into a very expensive pileup. Parking lots aren't racetracks, and front-wheel drive isn't meant for drifting. But this guy learned the hard way, spinning out, crashing, and ruining more than just his pride. But hey, that TikTok reel must have felt good for the first few seconds. Speeding through traffic is bad enough, but speeding into a flood? Genius! This guy found out the hard way that water wins every time, even against a Porsche.
Need backup.
And I bet his dollar bills are much, much soggier than he had ever expected them to be. Who needs horsepower when you've got literal bull power? Driving a Lambo on the beach wasn't genius, but getting it pulled out this way is pure comedy. In the end, this proves that bulls are much better than horsies. The Audi R8 has impressive launch control, but it's no match for poor control. This guy went full throttle straight into failure. It was over before it even began. Tough luck, buddy. It's best if you just slip out of this situation silently. Nothing says instant karma like a BMW driver trying to flex and failing. One show-off moment, one wrecked car, lesson learned. The BM in BMW probably stands for big mistake. Some cars need skill, not just a license. This Mustang driver got behind the wheel and straight into disaster. But hey, it's pretty on character for a Mustang. Who needs Fast and Furious when you've got Hong Kong police seizing a lineup straight out of a car show? Supercars turned street racers into public transit passengers in one swoop. If these guys could keep it in their engines, they wouldn't have run into this big a trouble. Buying a Lamborghini seems like a smart choice until you get it stuck in the mud. Who knew the car wasn't built for Indian back roads? The repairs, they're gonna sting worse than the mud, and that's why you stick to the Maruti Suzuki cars. Taking a Ferrari for a spin when it's not yours? Risky. Crashing it during said spin? Well, let's just say he's washing more than cars after this disaster, or halfway through faking an identity in Mexico. That's the only smart move he could pull. A Shelby Daytona Coupe is rare, but so are drivers who can handle its power. This guy took it out for a spin and turned it into a very expensive piece of modern art. Well, there's no undo button when you crash a Shelby Daytona Coupe.
Oh no.
Launching a rented Huracan sounds like fun until you launch it straight into a curb. That thrill ride quickly turned into a regret-filled stop. Just why? Why would people be this bold with stuff that doesn't even belong to them? Revving a Lamborghini's engine can be tempting, but this guy took it too far. The car caught fire, turning his flashy ride into a flaming spectacle for all to see. Honestly, I'm way too poor to even understand how expensive a loss this is.
A few moments later.
The Lamborghini Aventador S was supposed to strut into the car event, but instead it made headlines for crashing on the way. Guess it wasn't quite ready to shine on the big stage, or maybe just really wanted to make a big entrance. Trying launch control in a tiny parking lot? Big mistake. This guy ended up spinning out, hitting a curb, and totaling his car. And not once the way you'd think. At least now he knows where not to push his pedal to the metal. Turns out, loading a supercar onto a truck isn't as simple as it looks. The truck underestimated the weight, and the result? A massive crash that claimed both vehicles. Insurance is going to have a tough time figuring out which one to fix first. Driving is simple, unless you make it complicated. This crash is the perfect example of why overconfidence is dangerous. The man thought his new supercar was safe in the loading truck until gravity had other plans. Instead of a sleek reveal, it got a public crash landing. Hope his YouTube fame includes an insurance claim update, because that's got to be painfully expensive. Turning off traction and stability control seemed fun, until it turned the whole Ferrari into an off-road toy. Now, bushes are the new barriers, and the insurance bill is about to have a field day. I mean, how dumb could you get? Driving off the lot might sound thrilling, but crashing into half the parking lot wasn't quite the impression he was going for. Insurance adjusters must have had a great laugh after all. They've got a whole mess to sort out. Their festive rap couldn't save them from the holiday chaos. This BMW crash is a Christmas fail they won't forget. Yeah, as if copying trends has always gone to plan. Trying to look cool, this guy thought he could stand on his car. Bad idea. He slipped and landed right on the glass, cracking it in the most awkward and unfortunate way possible, leaving a memorable imprint of his behind. Mechanics were just working on a car when, bam! Another car came crashing through. They dodged just in time, but their ride? Not so lucky. It became a crumpled mess under that unexpected impact. But hey, talk about the quickest mechanics ever, right? This guy thought his truck could be the next big thing, until he tried driving over some junk like a monster truck. Spoiler, his truck didn't survive, and neither did his plans for glory. Now he's just left with a bad reminder of how dumb he is. A narrow mountain road was already blocked by a bus, but this genius thought he could drive vertically. He squeezed through, sure, but didn't exactly stick the landing. His car? Major damage. How would it have even worked? That's a big supercar fail. A McDonald's sign didn't just sit above, this one decided to collapse onto a poor car below, crunching it like a tin can. The irony? Lunch was ruined, and so was the car. But when that guy's cashing in the payout, he'll be loving it. Two luxury cars collided, an AMG GT63 SE and an SL55 AMG Roadster. It wasn't just a crash, it was a brutal reminder that sometimes two heads or cars are worse than one. And since this happened in India, you know those cars cost a lot more than they're actually worth. If there's one person you can count on to ruin your day, it's definitely your sibling. One guy parked his brother's Maserati in front of a construction site and paid with not only the tow trucking fees, but that drop at the end probably felt less compared to the drop in his heart.
Oh,
The good news is the driver survived, surprisingly with no scratches. The bad news is that he'll probably have to chip in for the homeowner's insurance. But you know what I'm thinking? How? The plan was simple: pull off a slick skid into the driveway. What actually happened? A dramatic tumble, shattering speakers and leaving a mess of broken glass that'll cost more to clean up than they'd hoped.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure, my privilege to be able to announce that Summer has bought her very first car.
The car salesman tried adding flair to his sale by having the customer kick a gong. He even built up the suspense for a while, making every salesman and customer there jealous. And then comes the ultimate kick.
Two, kick it!
Oof, not so jealous now, are they? Standing on a supercar mirror might seem flashy, but it's just a sure way to crack it. This guy thought he could show off, but ended up leaving a clear, not-so-genius mark. Now he's smiling through the pain and the repair bill. Think you can bounce a car like it's a toy? Think again. It's one thing to be dumb enough to do that. It's another when the bounce is directly under another car. And of course, it ended up the exact way you'd think. Train meets bridge. What could go wrong? Apparently, enough force to rip the roof off. The train was hauling luxury cars, and now they've got a much more affordable view of the sky, though it's not quite the panoramic they had in mind. Tow trucks have a reputation for handling delicate situations, but apparently not today. This one couldn't even manage to load the car without taking out half the street. Looks like multiple owners will have to learn about shared damages. The stunt was supposed to be grand. A Humvee dropped from the sky. Instead, it plummeted faster than intended, slamming into the ground with a deafening crash and leaving a mess of twisted metal. Gravity had other plans.
Oh my god.
A Lamborghini and a massive puddle? Not a good combo. This guy thought he could splash through it, but ended up turning his dream ride into a waterlogged disaster. But hey, I'm pretty sure the insurance company will be understanding. Pretty sure.
No!
And we've got the smartest guy on the block. Not only is he refusing to stay in during a flood, but even takes out his Lambo. Of course, when egos go like this, all you can expect is for them to come crashing down. Some ideas seem good on paper, but this guy tried to drive his SUV through a river like it was a boat. Needless to say, the result? A very soggy vehicle and an expensive tow out of the mess. And also knowing you're probably the dumbest person out there. Floodwater can ruin cars, but this guy's brilliant idea was to drive through it. His engine caught fire, leaving behind nothing but smoke and a very expensive lesson. Honestly, if you're this dumb, you deserve a massive supercar failure like this. Bouncing the bass seems fun, until the vibration snaps something important under the hood.
Oh, no way.
This guy thought he was making music, but he's just made the car's breakdown a memorable soundtrack, featuring his regret.
I'm mad as hell. I do that shit one more time, guys.
A brand new car, fresh off delivery, should glide smoothly onto the pavement, right? Nothing really could ever change the way things look like they're gonna go, unless, of course, your delivery is being shipped by a very FedEx-esque guy. What a shame.